This is a 18 Honda the Elite, the top-end model in the Honda lineup, and it costs $50. That's right, you can now spend $50 for a minivan. Today, I'm going to take you on a tour of this thing and show you what you get when you spend $50 on a family. Now, before I get started, I should say that this thing isn't exactly $50. I think the Windows price is something like just a little over $48 with shipping, but of course, by the time you've paid taxes and fees, you're leaving the dealership over $50,000. I mention this because it seems like every brand that makes a minivan is scared of crossing the $50,000 barrier. If you go on the Chrysler Pacifica online configurator, now I'm going to start on the outside of the Odyssey Elite with the key. Now the key looks like every other normal car. This one is rather complicated. It has 70,000 buttons on it. There's lock, lock, the door on the left side, lock, the door on the right side, the lock. There's the remote, the alarm. It's one of the more bizarre keys I've seen, and that sort of foreshadows what's coming. Now I'll move on to the interior of the Odyssey Elite in a minute. I'm going to start on the outside. There's not really that many interesting things on the outside of this car. One of the interesting things is the fact that it has LED alarm. Next up, we're climbing outside the Odyssey. Now when you do that, you will find a few bizarre buttons to the left of the Elite. It has most of the modern safety tech you'd expect, so I'm going to go through this quickly. Now the other buttons over to the left of the steering wheel are a little bit more interesting. Those would be your power sliding door buttons. Now power sliding doors are not particularly unusual in minivans anymore. Most of them have them now, but the interesting thing about the Odyssey is just how many ways you have to open the power sliding doors. For instance, you can push the little button to the left of the steering wheel and set priority interruptions from who. Next up in the infotainment system, we move on to two of the coolest features in any car on the road today. I will start with cabin. You're driving along in a normal minivan and your kids are making a ruckus in the back seat, so you turn around to yell at them and you're not paying attention to the road and you run off the road. Because it has cabin watch, there is a camera in the back seat that lets you monitor your children from the infotainment screen. And check this out, not only can you look back in the back seats, but you can move the camera around to choose where you want to look most. So if your kids are making a ruckus in the second row, zoom in on the second row. If it's a problem in the third row, you can zoom over there. But it isn't the craziest. The craziest would be cabin talk. Cabin talk is the coolest thing I've seen. Basically, you're driving along and you want to tell your kids something back there. You want to yell at them to be quiet or whatever. You don't have to turn around and yell. You push cabin talk and a microphone comes on. You speak and it is projected into the back. Take a listen to how this works. Now, let me go over and get cabin talk on. Now listen to me. The total Doug score is 52 out of 52.